What's up, everyone? It's Professor G. Welcome to Techo Guide, where we always are trying to get you through college the quickest and most affordable way possible. So today we're going to cover how taking classes while you're still in high school can save you just thousands of dollars. For example, my daughter was doing a lot of classes while in high school, and it literally saved us at least $50,000 in her university fees. So there's different ways to do it. There's different reasons to do it. So let's jump right into this. Now, this presentation is really like for, say, high school students or their parents, right? Because sometimes the parents are the ones that have to bear the cost of college. So as a high school student, now those of you that are on top of your game and kind of killing it, this is great information for you to just make that transition to college level classes. For others of you that are not that good in high school, like I was terrible at high school. Don't even ask to look at my transcript in high school. But I made it through college. It's for whenever you're ready. So when you're ready to turn on that switch to get serious about completing classes and really understand that those college classes are really what get you out of poverty, then you'll start to make that mental and attitude and behavioral changes necessary. What I'm going to talk to you about today is concurrent enrollment. And what concurrent enrollment is, it's the ability for any high school student to take community college classes while they're still in high school. So here in California, we have the California Community College System, 116 colleges. You can take classes at any of them. Okay, that's the first thing. Through concurrent enrollment, you can take college classes from any of the 116 California community colleges. Now, the rules are pretty much the same, but again, every college is different, so you got to double check with the college that you're trying to take the class from. Now, high school students, you can be at 5, 6, 7 different community colleges, right? It's not really a good idea to be at that many, but you can. So just throwing it out there. If one college is kind of messing with you, go to another college. Don't waste your time messing with that college too much, right? All of them are going to have obstacles. All of them are going to have the pros and the cons. Just get to the one that will let you start taking classes and let you get serious about your education. You got to be a high school student to take advantage of concurrent enrollment. Now, the second thing, high school students are not charged for class fees. Even though we say it's free and you're not paying for classes, there are all these other additional fees that you will be held to that could be up into the amount of $50. In some cases, it's less. In other cases, a little bit more, but it's never really above that. So double and triple check. And if your school wants to charge you a ton of money, go to a different school. There might be a mistake in the record, so you might want to check with your admissions and records office if they're all of a sudden charging you all kinds of money. Because hey, schools make mistakes, and they make mistakes every single day. So you got to make sure you're on top of your game, double checking, triple checking that they have you as a high school student, that they're not going to be charging you registration fees. But if there are, and you got to ask, are there any additional fees that you have to pay for as a high school student? So be careful with that. And you're going to get that kind of advice from me all the time. You better double and triple check with the college that you're enrolled at. Now, one example of a college is American River College. That's one of the colleges up here in my district. American River College is the largest college in my district. I think it has like 35,000 students. So, I mean, you're talking about a huge college. We have Sumner's River College, which is the second college in the Los Rios district where I work. Folsom Lake College is the third. And then where I specifically do my time is Sacramento City College. And so it doesn't matter which one you go to, they're all the same. Okay, all of the 116 community colleges are the same. The real difference is size and just a little bit of like local rules that they change. But for the most part, just think of all 116 community colleges as the same thing. You just choose classes at which campus you want to take them from. Let me give you an example. So let's just take, Pancho here. Pancho, let's say he just finished 9th grade. And he's looking, he's going to start his 10th grade, right? So you have 10th grade, and then you have like a fall semester. And I know schools call them differently, but just for the sake of simplicity, let's just say a fall semester starts in August, goes to December. There'll also be a spring semester, right, in his 10th grade. So the 10th grade, fall and spring, that's like almost a year, right? And then he's going to, finish 10th grade, and he's going to start his 11th grade summer, right? That summer in between, that's 11th grade summer. And then, and then it just continues, right? It continues with basically the same thing. 11th grade fall, 11th grade spring, and then you enter your 12th grade year, right? And then you have your 12th grade summer, fall, and spring. So now Pancho has a decision to make, is when do I want to start college? Like, do I want to really wait until I'm done with high school? Do I have enough energy and grit to go ahead and start that now? Am I serious enough now to start my college classes? Because here's the other thing. If you're not serious and you're not ready, do not start college yet, because you're going to get killed in the classes. Literally, it's going to beat you up. College is hard for a reason. Make sure you're kind of ready for it. So in this example, I'm going to show you someone who's like thinking about going to college, not really sure yet. So he wants to take it a little easy. So what he did is he kind of heard about, hey, I can take community college classes at any of the 116 community colleges. Okay, cool. So think about this. And a couple notes here that popped up in the top here. Is in college, when you finish 30 units, you basically finish 1 year of college. So if you're going to 4-year college and you're going after a 4-year degree, where you're going to do 30, 60, 91, you're going to do 120 units for a bachelor's degree. If you're only doing a 2-year degree, then it's 60 units. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to do some math in a little bit, just simple addition, so don't worry too much. Now, as high school students, you can take up to 11 units per semester, okay? So 11 units, it could be 3 to 4 classes. I normally recommend my high school students, to start off easy, right? Like 1 class. You got to see what the college is going to throw at you. You got to see how hard it's going to be, how much homework that they require, and you got to get it done, because at the college level, everything's permanent. So you got to make sure that you don't mess up in your classes and then all of a sudden have a bunch of bad grades, like D's and F's and stuff like that. In this case, with Pancho here, he's 15 years old. He's going to enter his 10th grade year. He's going to take 1 class, okay? 1 class is worth 3 units. Now, that class can be in almost anything. I'll explain that later. But say he takes 1 class in the fall semester of his 10th grade year while he's taking his high school classes, right? At the local high school where he's at, wherever he's at. So he could be in Fresno and he could be taking this 1 class with Sacramento City College if he wants. He could be in LA and be taking a class with San Diego City College if he wants. He could be, real close to the college. He could be in Gilroy, right? Gilroy, California, and taking a class at Gavilan College, which is in Gilroy, California. It's really up to the student. It's really up to what you choose. And if you get everything in on time, they'll let you take those classes. So back to this example. His 10th grade fall semester, he takes 1 class. Then he does pretty good, gets C, B in the class, maybe even an A, who knows, right? And then 10th grade spring semester, he decides to take another class. Okay, cool. Another 3 units are done. 11th grade comes in, takes another class, 3 units. 11th grade fall, hey, okay. He says, you know what, I'm going to take 2 classes. Now, and this is really up to Pancho and his counselor and his parents, making sure that they're watching and making sure that he isn't getting behind and it's not too overwhelming, right? So now he's taking 2 classes, taking 6 units, and then in 11th grade, his spring semester, does it again. Takes another 2 classes, 6 units, and now he's going into his senior year, right? And in his senior year, he takes 1 class and he wants to take it easy that summer school, but then he loads up 9 units in the fall, and then drops back down to 1 class because he wants to be a little bit, less stressed in his last semester of high school. Whatever. Doesn't matter what you do, but look at what happens. When you're just doing it kind of slowly like this, right? All of these units are college units. So what happens here is that Pancho ends up, by the time he finishes high school, he ends up with 36 units of college work. And this is him taking it kind of easy, right? There's some students who are hardcore and they're taking 11 units every single semester, okay? But, don't want to go there. It's very rare. I would suggest 1 or 2 classes per semester for most people. Now, what does that do? Well, remember that little note up there. 30 units is 1 year. Pancho's going to finish 36 units, so he's already finished more than 1 year. This is a different way to start finishing requirements other than, say, the advanced testing kind of stuff. Again, in my personal opinion, this is the best way to get racked up those college units as opposed to all the other types of programs like AP, CLEP, and IB. Those are dependent on testing. This is, you take the actual class and you'll get a grade at the end of that semester and you will know whether you passed it or not. What can we count with this, right? So what I'm telling, Pancho to do is this. As you're finishing classes, make sure you're knocking out, with that 1 college class, you're knocking out a high school graduation requirement. For example, my kids, I make them do this, right? Go to college and high school at the same time. And my kid had to take like foreign language, Spanish or French, German, whatever. So I had him do it at the college, right? Beginning foreign language, and bam, he finished it at the college, and it's done at the high school now. He doesn't have to then take another class at the high school. That just opened up more time for him to take another college class, because once you use a class for a high school requirement, the high school can't require that from you anymore. So then your schedule opens up. So, high school graduation requirements. Can you double count any college classes for that? The answer is yes, absolutely. And you got to make sure that your high school counselor knows you're doing that, so that they can free you up from having to take more high school classes, and that allows you now the time to take more college level classes. So, second thing you can do. You can focus all your classes on a career certificate. What I mean about a career certificate is that's the fast stuff. That's the faster things, the really short certification programs. And here's the thing. You don't just stop with one. Get that and then get a bunch more, or get that and then start your track to the university or to an associate's degree, whatever. Always get more than one thing. So in this case, you can do a certificate while you're in high school in digital design. So by the time you're out of high school, you already have a digital design certification. So you're a graphic designer. You're not going to be flipping burgers, right? You're not going to have a crappy job, right after high school, because you already got certified in something. And so some students will say, hey, Professor G, put me in all cybersecurity and networking and programming, because I hear about all this computer stuff, but I don't know anything of it. So guess what? We do that while you're in high school. By the time you graduate with those 36 units, you now have one or two computer information science certifications, like cybersecurity, programming, networking, those kinds of things. And so as long as you have those, again, your job right after high school is going to be completely different than all your friends who either have to go into labor-intensive work or not have job at all because they don't have any skills, right? Other certifications that are popular amongst my students, welding. I got so many, students that are lowriders, man. They want to build rock crawlers or something. Well, guess what? You got to weld. If you don't know how to weld and make that machine strong enough to handle the environment, it ain't gonna work. So I have some of my students doing welding classes at their local community college. So by the time they graduate from high school, they already are certified as a professional welder. That's a different kind of student that's graduating, right? They're certified. They can get paid now $80 to $100 to $120 an hour, right? Doing welding while they build on their education and continue to go to either the community college or go to university. But you're not, again, broke anymore because you have certificates that raise your income. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. I mean, whose systems don't break? Everyone's systems break eventually, right? You need some of those people with those kinds of skills. Why not pick them up while you're in high school? Other options, electronics repair. I mean, I can't tell you how many things I see that are electronic that are broken, that I know I can fix and flip. But I need to learn electronics repair, or else I won't be able to fix things like that, right? Early childhood education, music recording, cosmetology, auto transmission repair. That makes a lot, right? Trannies, man. Trannies go out all the time, and not every mechanic knows how to fix one of those, right? You can pick up all of those kinds of things, right? Including electric vehicle technology and wastewater treatment technology. You're talking about some serious majors that are high-paying certificates. And remember, certificates, you don't have to do general ed classes for those. You just have to do the major. So that's another thing you can do through advanced ed if you wish. Now, a third thing you can do is, for those of you that are thinking about like associate's degrees or bachelor's degrees, meaning you want to go to the university, those kinds of things, well, then guess what? You can take classes in your major while you're in high school to be preparing you and knocking out requirements for the university system, for Sac State, Cal State LA, for UC Berkeley, UC Merced, whatever. If you're thinking about going to university, you can start focusing on your major and start knocking out all the introduction classes, introduction to psychology, introduction to sociology, introduction to business, whatever it might be. That's one way you can take it too. And the last way you can do it, and this is what most people probably do, is since they don't really know what they want to do, when they're in high school, they don't really know what they want to do for college or for career. And that's okay, because a lot of us are first generation in our family. We just don't know, right? We haven't been exposed yet. So if you don't know and you just want to knock out regular requirements called general ed requirements, you can do that too. And you can knock out general ed requirements that are for an associate's degree at the local community college, or you can also knock out general ed requirements that are for the university system, right? And that's kind of what I had my daughter doing. Is she was doing a lot of general ed for the university system, and she was doing some major classes for the university system. So when she graduated high school and she entered the university, she wasn't a freshman no more. They moved her to junior, first year. So she was 18 years old and she was a junior at the university. And then 4 semesters later, she's getting her bachelor's degree. And she did it, hardcore, kind of like, 10, 11, units per semester. My sons, they don't want to do it that way. So they're only doing like one class per semester, which is fine because at the end, no matter what, they're going to save us a ton of money because they shave years off of their education, whether it's 1 year, that I don't have to pay for later, or it's 2 years they don't have to pay for, or I don't have to pay for that later. So think of that. The opportunity, if you're still in high school, is huge. But remember, let's be serious about it. Let's, get things done. Okay? So what's the process like? You got to be in high school. You got to be 9th to 12th grader. They'll start letting you take classes at 9th grade. If the college next to you doesn't let you take classes at 9th grade, go to a different college that allows you to take classes at 9th grade. Remember, all 116 are pretty much the same, except for those little bits of rules that might be a little different. So as long as you're in high school, as long as you get parent permission and it's on the form, right? They'll have to sign it. It says, yeah, my kid can go. I'm approving them going to college for a class or two, right? You also have to have high school permission, right? And that's really with either like your vice principal or one of your counselors that are at the high school who also have to sign off that application to say that, yeah, we're allowing this student. We talked to this student about the seriousness of going to college and we think they're ready. Always got to complete applications. In college, man, there's so many forms. There's forms for everything. So download the form, get the form online, fill it out, make a copy. You need to be responsible for keeping all your stuff in order. I'm trying to train my kids is as soon as you fill out a piece of paper, you take a picture of it, right? Then you email it to yourself and you put the title college so that you know that it has to do with college. So the real last thing is really after all of that, you got to sign up for classes. And you got to sign up for classes on time because if the class fills up, if it's a popular class and it fills up, then you need to go to your second choice or your third choice or your fourth choice. That's why you always got to have, plan A, plan B, plan C. If I can't get this one, I'll get this one. If I can't get that one, I'll get this one. And I'll get this one. But always be on it to make sure that you're finishing some kind of requirement. I'm going to use an example here, Sacramento City College. Now, all California community colleges, you can apply by going to cccapply.org. There are deadlines for some cases. And in this case, this is an example of Sacramento City College deadlines. So for summer of 2023, right now we just entered April, right? So summer starts in June. Starts in about 2 months. So what do they want? They want all applications are encouraged to be submitted by May 26th. Now, key word there, encouraged to be submitted. That means try to get everything in. But if you can't get everything in, you can still get things in later. The second thing is they're telling you the registration, priority 3 registration, and that's basically, like students that have been at the college for a little while, they get priority 1 registration, and then priority 2 registration, different group of students, and then finally high school students. High school students in this college get priority 3 registration, which means you sign up for classes starting March 27, 28, but look at what it says after. Open enrollment begins March 30th. Well, we're in open enrollment. That means you can sign up openly now. Anyone can sign up. After it says open enrollment, that means anyone, whether you're priority 3, priority 7, doesn't matter, priority 1, anyone can register after March 30th for summer classes of 2023. And then for the fall 23 semester, right, it's asking you to submit your application for concurrent enrollment by August 11th. That means every semester you got to submit an application. Now, what do the steps look like? In this example, if you were going to Sacramento City College to take a class through concurrent enrollment, you would apply to Sacramento City College. When you apply to the college on this website here, the college within an hour or two, they will email you an ID number. Once you have that ID number, now you can do anything. You can make appointments, you can register for things, etc. You can start your other accounts. Number 2, you got to basically start your Los Rios Gmail account and your eServices account. And in the email you receive from Sacramento City College, it'll have links for that for you to start kind of understanding what that is, playing with that. There'll be an orientation as well, like an online orientation that explains what those things are. Your job is to make sure you read everything at least 3 times. Now, you also got to complete that special admit form, right? This admit form is really what gives you the permission of your high school, your parents, and then the college needs it back to know that you now have permission to be there, etc. So that's that special admit form. You'll eventually meet with your high school counselor for class advice, right? And we really tell the student, go see your high school counselor, because your high school counselor knows your high school graduation requirements, and they may want to recommend a class to you that meets one of those requirements. So again, you can be freed up to do more college classes later. Worst case scenario, you can't get a hold of your high school counselor, or your high school doesn't have a counselor, right? Talk to teachers, talk to your vice principal. You can also see a college counselor, but I'm just going to be brutally honest. You better make your appointments early, and you better not get disappointed if you can't get in early. You just got to make your appointment and keep it, and show up to it, and keep everything they give you, because it's hard to get counseling appointments. I'm just being brutally honest there. Normally, it takes at least 3 to 4 weeks to get a counseling appointment. Some counseling departments offer walk-ins, and yeah, show up as early. If they do, show up as early as possible because those walk-ins later in the afternoon, they fill up. So, keep that in mind when you're trying to see a counselor, but try to do it through your high school, because that's probably where you have the quickest access. Now, submit all the forms back to the college the way they want. If you got at Sac City, we want them all electronically. We don't want mail. We don't want all this other stuff. So got to make sure you read everything about submission and get it in, and again, make copies of everything that you're submitting. And the last thing here, and I know my screen is my picture-in-picture is kind of covering it, but take your college classes seriously, right? If you don't take your college classes seriously, you're gonna have a problem. You want to make sure that you don't miss classes. You want to make sure you engage with your professors. Do and turn everything in early. Do everything. Try to do it that same day. If you have to take notes. If you're not taking notes, you already have a problem, right? So remember, college is what changes your life, right? A lot of people used to tell me my high school changes my life. No, it doesn't. College changes your life, because college is now everyone's an adult and everyone's competing, right? And so you want to make sure that those college classes, you're taking them as serious as possible. You have to read. Everyone asks, hey, what's the secret? If you hate reading, you're going to have a tough time in college. You probably won't make it through. And just kind of, again, I'm just being honest. You got to get over that. That means you got to start reading every day, to start practicing, right? Start working out your mind, making it tough to be able to handle the levels of reading you're going to have in college. Every college is different. Do your searches for concurrent enrollment or high school enrichment. All of you in high school can participate in these types of programs. So don't assume that you can only go to one school, right? Don't assume that. You can go to multiple schools if you wish. Remember, at the high school level, they're not going to charge you. So make sure that you're taking full advantage of that. American River College, one of the largest ones out here in Northern California, about 33 to 35,000 students. There's the website, right? Right directly to how they call it. And you notice, if you read the website, it says dual enrollment. I just said it's because they try to confuse you. So make sure you try not to get confused. Okay, Delta College, right? Delta College, San Joaquin Delta, Stockton, big campus out there, one campus district. That district is just one campus. It's big. It's Delta College, beautiful campus. I was just there earlier this week. Make sure you check them out. Even if you're not from the area, because remember, if you're doing the classes like online, you don't have to live there. Okay, LA City College, same thing. It is, if they offer the classes you want, or if they offer the program you want, etc., go ahead and do it through them. Fresno City College, Gavilan College over in Gilroy. A couple other ones, that Folsom Lake College over in Folsom, also part of the Los Rios district. San Diego City College. Like I said, I only threw 2, 4, 7 on this slide, but there's 116 that offer these kinds of programs. So make sure, again, that you're kind of filling one out. If one of the classes you want is full at LA City College, then try LA Pierce College or LA Mission College that's in the LA Community College District, right? Because your ID number is the same. That's kind of another hidden piece of advice. If once you get an ID number, you belong to a district. So, if, for example, if you went to Sac City College, that's Los Rios district. American River College is part of that district. So that ID number you have with Sac City College, you can also use it for American River, and that same ID number, you can also use it for Folsom Lake because Folsom Lake is in the district. So again, my college district has 4 colleges. You can float around from all 4 of those with the same ID number without having to reapply every time. Okay? If you're down in San Diego has 3 colleges in the district. If you're over in LA, there's 9 colleges in that district. So again, as long as you're within those 9, you don't have to keep submitting applications to the college because your ID number is the same, right? So keep that in mind when you're planning this out with your counselors. Is try to stay like within the, even if you're going to different colleges, try to stay within the districts. And so, in a nutshell, at the end of this all is all of those units you're taking are worth thousands of dollars, because here's what happens. Let's assume you didn't do nothing in high school. Let's assume you just did high school, okay? And you ended up at UC Davis. Well, that first year at UC Davis, tuition is $15,000. If you're living on campus and eating on campus, that's another $15,000. So you have 30 grand now, your first year. But if you did what Pancho did and knocked out over 36 units, Pancho just saved 30 grand of what the UC system would have charged him. And as soon as he gets there, he's now second year. So he only has second, third, and fourth year, and bachelor's degree is done. He can also go to the community college again right after high school, do 1 year, and then transfer as a junior to a CSU or UC or any other university, even out of state and private schools, within 1 year, because he already has 36 units while in high school. He does another year, after he graduates in 12th grade, goes 1 year to community college, gets another at least 24 units, so he has the 60 units that's required to transfer. So he can transfer in 1 year and be a junior at any of the 4 years, or do another certificate, a third, a fourth, a fifth certificate, and start really making money really fast out of high school, because you get the first one, while you're in high school, or maybe even 2 while you're in high school. And then as soon as you get out, you do 3, 4, and now you're kind of untouchable in your profession, whatever it is that you choose, right? If you went the wastewater treatment technology, if you went electronics repair, if you went mechanics, if you went cosmetology, you're already way ahead of everybody else because you decided to start taking classes, here and there while in high school. So Deco Guide's all about showing you the quickest and the most affordable way to get through college. Professor G out.